Breaking news! Dateline, Eugene, Oregon. A sold-out crowd witnessed history on Valentine's Day as Matt Brannigan became the new Wrestling with Regret YouTube champion. Marcus Erics put up a good fight, but in the end, his keister was slapped down to the mat for the count of 3. Yes, sir, the people have fallen head over heels for their sauced-up Spartacus on this Valentine's Day. What does the future hold for Matt Brannigan now that he holds the richest prize on the platform? Stay tuned, regretters.
Wrestling with regret. Let's get it, yeah!
As we have seen time and again on this channel, wrestling loves to try and evolve in ways that nobody was really asking for. The AWA did the Team Challenge series, WCW had the Referee Cam, and WWE had the idea to put all of their content onto an online streaming platform for a monthly subscription. What a bunch of weirdos, am I right? More than a quarter century ago, as we approached the dawn of a new millennium, everyone speculated about the future and the technological advancements we'd see in the year 2000 and beyond. We wondered how the internet would become less of a novelty and more of a vital utility. But the most important question in this new information age was, what if wrestling do internet? Well, some fans got a glimpse of the answer in the fall of 1999. One month, subscribers to the WCW magazine got a special bonus along with their regular issue, an enhanced CD-ROM called the WCW Power Disc. Oh man, when I was a kid, enhanced CD-ROMs like this were really cool back in the day. A lot of the times you would see those on music albums, where if you put the CD into your computer, there was this software built in that would give you all this exclusive videos and other kind of content. It was like a website built into a CD at a time when fast internet wasn't widely available yet. It turns out the WWF tried doing something similar at around the same time with the Encyclopedia, which Wrestling Bios actually talked about a few years back. He was even able to crack the old software and look at almost the entire thing.
For this is the WWF, and this is Monday Night Raw.
Jesus, thank you for your service, man. Anyway, back to the story. With WCW on a rapid decline, the company was looking for any way to make money, and that meant lots of licensing deals. One of those deals was with United Internet Technologies, who developed this experimental disc with WCW's web team, and that's how we got the Power Disc. Over the last several years, this had been one of the last remaining holy grails of lost wrestling media. Even the folks at the WWE Vault had acknowledged the footage existed, but that they couldn't see it for themselves. See, the contents of this disc could only be seen if you had an active connection to UIT's remote server. But when that server went offline in 2000, that meant everything in this disc was locked, totally inaccessible. Unless you knew your way around a computer, I guess. Thanks to the intrepid work of a fella named Blake Bratcher, the video files on this CD-ROM have recently been revealed and made public for the world to see. Being the big research nut that I am for things like this, I went and read his explanation on how he did it, and after having a quick sleep on it, I think the gist of it is he basically reverse engineered the encryption to unlock all this glorious footage. He even uploaded it to the Internet Archive so you can check it out for yourself in all its 240p glory. All the highlight reels, all the exclusive content, all the cyber matches.
This is virtual reality wrestling.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's work our way up to that. This week, I'm going to be your tour guide through the wrestling equivalent of a major archaeological find, the WCW Power Disc videos. But first, be sure to subscribe to Wrestling with Regret so you can get more stuff like this here on the World Wide Web. So first things first, let's look at the disc itself. The packaging is nice, hits you right off the bat talking about their amazing new technology. The disc has that nice printed finish on top and everything. This is presentation. Meanwhile, look at what the WWF put out the same year. Look at that disc. Encyclopedia, more like Encycrapedia. Oh yeah, I went there. Aside from these two little sample images on the disc sleeve, it's hard to tell exactly what the rest of the Power site looked like. Those menu pages don't seem to have been uncovered yet. The old Internet Archive comes up short, but you can tell there was at least a page for wrestler bios and one for merch links. And apparently the pages featured several 10 to 15 second clips of WCW wrestlers giving you their details and selling their wares.
The best looking 6'3", 390-pound, fully tattooed, bald-headed man in the world. And if you think this is hot, you gotta check this out. You want the goods on Goldberg? Well, you're looking at him.
This is the Stinger from World Championship Wrestling. I am the franchise, and I am back in black.
What's this on the back? Shut up and run. I am the greatest, baby. Somebody call my mama because I'm gonna whoop somebody.
At work, I look like this. And during the day, I wear this.
Yo, dudes, if you want to look like Hulk Hogan, you've got to get the gear, brothers.
Whoop, Hulk saying the quiet part out loud there. Also, is it just me, or is seeing an old pixelated video slowly fading in as a freeze frame before playing unlock something deeply nostalgic in anyone else?
Yeah, I know. Everybody wants to be a horseman. Over the years, everybody wanted to be a horseman.
I thought it was interesting that some of the wrestler videos had their normal themes like Hogan, DDP, Disco Inferno, even the cat was spared his terrible network dub, but instead of NWO or Wolfpack music, how about some serial killer synth instead?
For some reason, you internet geeks.
But the MVP of this disc has to be Kevin Nash, who, you know what, my words can't possibly do it justice. You just gotta watch.
I am Kevin Nash, 6'10", member of the NWO. My likes are gearhead work, woodworking, caulking the bathtub, and of course, professional wrestling. Later on in the house, want to measure something? That's right, maybe one of your kids. That's what we have here, the Big Sexy Growth Chart. Not advisable for people over 7'1".
The CD included plenty of highlight videos, one for Goldberg, one for Red and Yellow Hogan, the Nitro Girls, there's one for Kidman, they had an old Crow Sting one from '97, and some of the other clips that were uncovered were just commercials for things like Slim Jim and Surge, because hey, these discs weren't going to pay for themselves. There are also video files of the intros for both Thunder and Nitro, along with what looks to be some alternate version of a Nitro intro that's really bad. And since the disc was a fall release, there were some timely highlights from past Halloween Havoc pay-per-views, like the finish to the Nasty Boys vs. the Steiners from 1990, part of Hogan and Savage from '96, and the Monster Truck Sumo match from '95? Sure, just what I would want to remind the fans of. I kid, but by '99 standards, it's all pretty neat stuff. You know, YouTube was far from a thing at this point, and finding clean videos of stuff like this at that time was nearly impossible unless you grew up rich and had a modem faster than 256K. We are just beginning to scratch the surface of this disc, and I'm already pretty impressed. Thank goodness for the hacker who did all this. Oh, and speaking of which...
It's me. The hacker.
Hidden throughout the disc was a series of cryptic videos starring a mysterious figure known as the Hacker. He claimed to work within the WCW offices and boasted about the immense power at his fingertips.
I will tap into all computer mainframes, and I will rule World Championship Wrestling.
I'm gonna put so much strange porn on your hard drive you won't know what hit you. Look at all this grainy footage. Anyone else getting missed flashbacks all of a sudden?
Oh, Chad. Stop feeding information, bad information that you feed to the WCW fans.
Oh, for crying out loud, he's literally talking into a sheet. He made a lot of vague threats to Eric Bischoff and other members of the web staff in these videos, and I'm sure it was going to lead to some sort of payoff on a future Power Disc. But as was the case with many storylines that year in WCW, this mystery angle went nowhere. That being said, we ought to show our respects to the Hacker for inspiring such wrestlers as Sami Callihan and Mustafa Ali.
One of the unique things about the WCW Power Disc is we're going to take you up close and personal with your favorite WCW superstars.
Booker T, Randy Savage, DDP, Bret Hart, Chris Jericho, Norman Smiley, Mike Awesome, Ernest Miller, Shane Helms, Al Green, literally anyone but Brian Knobbs?
Jimmy! What the hell are you doing?
You promised me you were going to work out.
Please do. What time is it?
8:37 through. It's
12:30.
Yes, yes. Where you find this man, you will find quality. It is now time to venture to the weirder side of this exclusive content. We begin with a series of videos featuring CHAD DAMIANI, someone who worked for the website and who was also part of those live backstage blast segments on DirecTV that would air during the ad breaks on Nitro. Each video began with Chad materializing in front of a set of crosshairs to introduce the bit, and Nasty Knobs' bit was waking up in his hotel room as Jimmy Hart yelled at him off camera, aka in post-production.
You're supposed to be dressed and ready this morning.
Get some shirts on.
Come on,
get washed up.
Come on, I don't even care if you even take a shower.
Right, Jimmy, would you quit talking? You're driving me crazy.
The segment continued with a funny workout montage featuring Knobs before ending with a hell of a tantalizing tease. Barbecue? Who doesn't want to see this?
Sometimes you cheat to win. You know, if that's what you're trying to say, I'm gonna let the cat up. You know why we're successful? Because we cheat. We cheat. Let's make it simple. In life, if you want to get anywhere, you gotta cheat.
Oh, the food here is absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, that spaghetti. I haven't tried that spaghetti.
Huh, who the hell eats spaghetti at a barbecue place? What's that, WCW fan? Brian Knobbs not cool enough for you? Well, get a load of this.
Come on in, doors open.
Scotty, I'm so...
I'm
sorry.
Clutch.
No, I got it.
Why aren't you in front of the bathroom mirror for this like a normal person? And how did Chad enter the room from inside the room? The next series shows Scotty Riggs teaching Chad his rules on how to pick up chicks. You know things are going well for him because he's here in his hotel room filming a bit for the WCW Power Disc and not doing something more interesting on TV like his former tag partner Buff Bagwell.
You know, Marcus, he's become buff. And buff might be the stuff Riggs rules.
Keep telling yourself that, bud. I love this part of the scene when Riggs is looking at himself in a handheld mirror while at the same time looking at himself in a stand-up mirror across the room that Damiani is desperately holding up by himself for some reason.
I mean, everything is... It couldn't be more perfect. I mean, this is going to be the greatest night of my life.
Yeah, I'm telling him with Scotty Riggs.
Wait. Run that back.
The greatest night of my life.
In this scene, Chad tries to hit on a woman in a bar, but is immediately rejected. Riggs then goes to pick up the same woman and succeeds, because apparently Riggs' rule number 1 is to just be Riggs. Easy. These bits didn't really have a point, but at least it gave some lesser-pushed guys a chance to do something. In an era where being on TV and pay-per-view was king, the internet was a place to do odd things like this to get their characters over, albeit to a much smaller potential audience. Alright, so we've sifted through the shorter videos, we have witnessed the hacker, and looked at the skits involving the wrestlers. Now it's time for the main event of the disc, so to speak, the cyber matches. Experience for the first time ever face-to-face full-motion video of your favorite WCW stars online. Bone-jarring matches direct from cyberspace in an arena you won't believe until you see it for yourself. Damn, looks epic. In the late 90s, a little bit of PS1 quality graphics and a tiny picture like this could go a long way. This particular disc included 3 of these cyber matches, and it was suggested that the Power site would update every few weeks with fresh new videos. Each match was introduced by the legendary Mean Gene Okerlund, just the guy to lead us into a new millennium of action.
But this time around, it's one-on-one action. Again, Kenny Chaos meeting Chase Tatum right here in cyberspace.
Now it's time to plunge deep into cyberspace and witness the future of professional wrestling as we know it with the cyber matches. Holy wow, this sure is something.
I tell you, Scott, I lived long enough to see into the future. I could be labeled a modern-day Nostradamus after this, but where do you see the way the ring's designed with the tusks and swords coming up from the floor? There are no run-ins in cyberspace.
Sure, 14-year-old me probably would have found this cool, but looking back, how could something look to be so ahead of its time and so dated all at once?
When I invented Larry Land 20 glorious years ago, I never knew that I'd be around to see cyberspace wrestling.
I mean, these cyber matches are Greg Gagne's vision fully realized from a decade prior to this. This is the exact same concept as that pilot episode of the Team Challenge series and their big empty studio, only with a much bigger budget and a far more liberal use of the prefix cyber.
Chaos is building up somewhat of a reputation here in cyberspace.
The cyber stick, no part of it.
They want to be the first cyber champion. I was hoping he would.
That would be interesting.
Cyber sick.
Cyber sick. One of our competitors will emerge from this cyber bug zapper when you're in the cyber ring in the cyber dome.
The matches were filmed on a giant green screen with a green apron on the ring, filmed on 3 stationary cameras, then they could superimpose whatever they wanted to in post. But why was there whatever this? This Cyberdome is the most hideous thing I've seen in a minute. Who thought it was necessary to make the already awful WCW logo even worse by turning it into a giant pinwheel, or to make a shiny black NWO logo front and center on the hard camera on a blood red wall? The color scheme? Tusks? Retracting spikes? Flames on only one side of the ring? Who's the asshole who set everything in here to random?
It's me, the hacker.
Check out the footage of fans superimposed onto a screen. Well, at least they're obviously at a wrestling show and not a fucking Applebee's. And wow, great shot of the back of that kid's head. That was certainly a clip to keep in. Seriously, after watching these, I'm getting a little nostalgic for the Thunderdome. Look at these graphics, look at these entrances. Blurry PNG files of wrestlers beaming into a cage, then teleporting from there to the ring. This somehow looks worse than the AWA's Tron ramp ever did. Then the match begins, and it looks like one of those light beam shoot 'em up arcade games they used to have. And once you get past the blight of the set, the matches themselves are pretty darn basic 3-minute ditties called by a confused Scott Hudson and Larry Zbyszko. This is an evolution?
Although I don't know, the second row in Philadelphia wasn't too friendly.
Yeah, but that was just hat pins.
Chase Tatum and Kenny Chaos in our cyber ring.
Do they still make hat pins nowadays?
I'm almost sure they don't.
You can tell how much faith WCW had in these cyber matches, since only the biggest and most recognizable athletes were there for them, like Kenny Chaos and Chase Tatum, real household names. Or how about this full circle moment? In 1995, Eric Watts and Chad Fortune worked together in the WWF as a space-age duo known as Techno Team 2000, and then they face off in one of the cheesiest pseudo-futuristic things imaginable about 4 years later. Then there's this match where Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, head trainer of the power plant, took on Hardbody Harrison, and you know what? We can just keep him in that cage there. You know what? No need to teleport him to the rest of the art project. It seems as though Watts and Fortune were the only ones who understood the assignment when filming that day, as none of the other wrestlers seemed to even care they were surrounded by instruments of cyber doom. Look at them sell for the invisible spikes and flames. Now, these guys are professionals.
Gone are the days when you can use the top rope as an offensive weapon. You have to stay grounded and inside the ring at all times.
He said immediately before Chaos hit a top rope leg drop for the win. My favorite moment of this comes from the Sarge Harrison matchup. Hardbody begins the match by throwing a foreign object out of the ring into the cyber flames. Then at the end, his cyber stick comes flying back in. Buddy Lee is the one who wants to use it. He's told no, then just wins anyway. Only in the cyber arena can the Sarge look too strong. And who the hell threw him that gimmick anyway? Some cyber crew member? I wonder if future cyber matches would have taken place in different environments. Like, what if we had an ice arena with glacier wrestling in it? Or a ranch where somebody fought Dustin Rhodes? Or what if they went to the one place uncorrupted by professional wrestling?
Space!
Sadly, we will never know, as those were the only WCW cyber matches released on the WCW Power site via the WCW Power Disc. What could have been? What a fun piece of wrestling history this is. It's easy to look back at this and make fun now, but you have to give credit to WCW for trying to think differently about growing and monetizing their online presence. The company had actually been at the forefront of other tech advances in wrestling, like live streaming audio of pay-per-views and secondary content during other live events. So it makes sense that they would try to utilize the internet in this way. Most of what's on this disc may have been cheesy, but it's still a way better effort than whatever this shit was. I feel like there's something there to the cyber match idea, but as it turns out, folks have been able to enjoy watching wrestling on the internet without tusks or flaming spikes around the ring, and for the most part, people are happy with that. And no matter how they've tried to disguise it over the decades, be it WCW or the AWA or WWE, a wrestling ring without a crowd around it is just plain weird. At least we can have our silly arenas in the 2K games. That being said, I would have killed to have something like this in 1999. So, here you go, kid.
Aw, thanks, man. This is so cool. Windows 98? What the hell, man? You know we're an Apple family.
What did you think of the WCW Power Disc? How about those cyber matches? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe to Wrestling with Regret. I'm Brian Zane here from the Cyber Studio in the Cyber House on the Cyber Site, and I'll see you next time.
Oh my God, thank you for showing up. Oh, it's been over 25 years since someone booted up this CD. Oh, please buy the t-shirt so I can get out of here. Oh no, don't fade away yet. No, please, bring me the blue pagey gimmicks.